You better not shout, you better not cry. Konami doesn't care if you've been naughty or nice. Yu-Gi-Oh! Banlist season is here. Merry Christmas and happy holidays, everyone. Welcome to the January 1st, 2024 Banlist live reaction. This just went up only a couple of minutes ago. We have to do this on the EU page, apparently, because it looks like the NA one hasn't already updated. But man, I don't know why you guys still want to keep watching this, because honestly, I haven't been playing Modern in quite some time, although I might be getting back into it with the 3v3 right around the corner. I also apologize because I am sick as shit. So with that being said, what other better way to rein in the new year than to talk about a new ban list? Let's go ahead and scroll down and see what we're going to be looking at here. I'm excited. I think it's cool to see. This ban list is probably most likely going to be the ban list that will be in effect for the 3v3 in Las Vegas in February, which if you are planning on attending, I will see you there. But in any case, let's go ahead and scroll on down and see what we are going to be working with here. Effective from January 1st, 2024. That seems perfectly fine. And let's go ahead and scroll on down and see. I will say, I don't know if I necessarily like the EU's. Usually I like a lot of what Konami EU does better than Konami US, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just partial to the old layout. Maybe it's just me. In any case, let's go ahead and scroll down and see what we have for Forbidden. Agito, the Ancient Sentinel, is now banned, which probably means, if I had to take a guess, that Kelbeck is going to be banned on here as well. Now, everyone knows that these two cards, again, I'm assuming Kelbeck is banned. I would be shocked if they banned Agito and not Kelbeck. But in any case, a lot of people like to gamble with the Tournament deck, right? That's not really a surprise. And I can see the justification for these cards finally getting banned. Yes, but at the same time, you know, people like to gamble, right? It's fun. But I guess, you know, it does take a lot of the skill out of the game to some degree, because all of a sudden you're milling 10 and your deck's going to go off and your opponent can't really do much about it. It doesn't really leave a lot of opportunity for counterplay. And as someone who did play back when like tier mirrors were prominent back in like Darkwing Blast format, it's sad to see these cards go, I will say. But it is what it is. We obviously have to move on to, you know, bigger and better things. But in any case, I will not be surprised to see Kelbeck on here, and we'll eventually get there, I imagine. But for the most part, oh, there's Kelbeck. Okay, not really much else to say. That's pretty unsurprising. Mathmech Circular. Oh my God, Joshua Schmidt is going to have a field day with that one. Banned, as a matter of fact. Interesting how they're deciding to go about this in the TCG versus Master Duel. Also, MBT is going to be quite sad about this as well, although he hasn't been playing Mathmech recently, aside from in Master Duel. You know, it's still one of his favorite decks. Circular's crazy. People are also just really sick of this. It's weird, though, at the same time, right? Like, was Mathmech, like, this much of a problem? I know I haven't been, like, really into the game as of late, but I don't know. This seems like a really strange hit to me, all things considered. Yes, I understand Circular is incredibly powerful, but does it warrant the ban? I don't know. I guess that's, you know, that's for you guys to decide down in the comments. Max C is still here. This is honestly the only thing I actually care about on this list, and please, Master Duel, just ban this card already. Or, if anything, give us a TCG format and an OCG format, so then the TCG players don't have to suffer like the OCG players do. In any case, let's keep scrolling down and see what else we got. So we got Agito, we got Kelbeck, we got Circular. Isolde, Two Tails of the Noble Knights has finally hit the ban list. I think a lot of people feel that this is a long time coming. Honestly, Isolde probably could have been banned a couple years ago, and that probably would have been preferred. But it does suck for all the people who are playing the Isolde-based strategies, but it just seems like, and this is just my opinion, and I'm sure a lot of you probably share a similar sentiment, it seems to me that for the most part, any deck playing Isolde is not necessarily the most fun or interactive to be playing against. And so as a result of that, I think it's finally time for this card to go. Isolde is arguably one of the most powerful Link 2s in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, look at the other Link monsters that are on. I can't believe actually how many Links are banned now. But if you look at the list of, like, what else this is, like, going up against, it's really not a surprise to see, like, a card like Isolde being paired with everything else that we have that's banned. Man, Links were a mistake. Look at this. This is ridiculous. Anyway, let's move on. Isolde banned. I don't really think that's too surprising in all honesty, but it is what it is. I think it's probably for the better future of the game for that card to no longer be legal. So let's see what else. We're going to the spells now. So we've had 4 bans so far, which I think is probably totally fine, all things considered. We got some spells. We got some traps. Okay, cool. So 4 bans. I think all cards that people are perfectly okay to see go, and probably sad to see go in some respects, depending on like what deck it is that you play. Let's see what we got for the limits, though. I want to just make sure that I click that before, just in case we have something like a Guido at the top. Let's see. Slowly making our way down. Harp is back! Oh my god! Orcust, we can play it! Is anyone gonna be playing Orcust in 2024? I don't know. Like, Orcust was pretty good in 2020, 2019, right? TOS format. That's eventually like all the cards for not all the cards, but some of the key pieces of the deck did end up getting hit, which is why it wasn't really playable. I don't know. Like, are people really going to play Orcust with all the other just incredibly strong decks that are running around, especially now that like Bestials exist? Like, Orcust just doesn't seem good in my eyes. This could probably go to 3, and it probably wouldn't have any bearing on the game whatsoever. But we know that Konami likes to take a cautious approach sometimes with things, so I think Orcust Harpor is fine. Redox Dragon Ruler of Boulders. I don't think this is too surprising. I think we know from the OCG that they are releasing a new Dragon Ruler Xyz monster, I believe. And so it's not really a shock to see that these cards would come to limited. And honestly, I think that's fine. I think we're well past the point where the Dragon Rulers are really going to be wreaking havoc like they did back in 2014. But we'll see. I mean, it's possible. 2014, 2013. That sounds better. I don't know. In any case, I think this is fine. I don't think that's really going to do much. And then Rescue Ace Airlifter. Oh, come on. I was going to play Rescue Ace. And now Airlifter's limited. I guess justified, that sort of makes sense. If you look at the meta breakdown of the top represented decks from like past events, like we just had YCS Bologna, you know, a few others before that, Rescue Ace is by far and away one of the most represented decks. So I guess it's not really unjustified to hit one of, you know, the top decks of the current format. Hitting Airlifter kind of sucks though, because that is like one of your like main consistency cards. And man, I wanted to play that deck. Now, what the hell am I going to do now? And it might still be playable, but honestly, one Airlifter kind of blows. All right, let's see what else we got. That sucks. Substitute's still on here. All the tier elements are still on there as well. Not like these. What the fuck are people going to do now that Kelbeck and Agito are banned? Like, I'm just saying. Unchained Soul of Shavara makes sense with Unchained still being one of the most represented decks and has been, you know, a pretty terrifying deck for the last few months. It seems like they're going about the ban list of just checking everything to a degree that has been, you know, prominent in the last few months. And that's honestly what a ban list should do. So I don't think people can really argue with a lot of these hits, all things considered. But let's see what else we got here. Sun Avalon Dry. This is incredible. Oh my god, that is a direct shot at Jess if I've ever seen one. But yeah, okay, so we're really just hitting every deck now, aren't we? I can like understand the reasoning for this, but representation-wise, has the plant deck really been putting up the numbers? I don't really think that's the case. Not to say that, I guess if you're looking at it in the context of everything else that's been hit so far, you could make the argument that, okay, if we're going to check X, Y, and Z decks, that we need to sort of go down a bit and see like what might come up to the forefront. And hitting Dryas, okay, like, sure, I don't know. That's just a funny hit to me. And then Sunvine Healer too, amazing. All right, is that how we know that this is an EU list specifically? Because Dryas and Healer are on here? That's hilarious. Anyway, let's move on. Ib, the World Challenge Justiciar. Holy shit. Okay. Haven't seen Ib in quite a while. I think, funny enough, I think we're actually getting to the point in history of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or like around the point where Ib eventually gets banned, because Ib is crazy. Ib is a incredibly powerful card, and there's a reason that it was banned back in the day. Will it still be wreaking as much havoc now as it did back then? I don't know. There are some synchro-focused decks that could take advantage of this, but it's one of those things where, I don't know. I will say, though, there's been a lot of hits so far. Like, we've had 4 bans, and this is, what, 3, 6, 7 limitations so far? So we're definitely not shy on hitting cards this time around, which, you know, what a way to reign in the new year, right? In any case, let's move on. Let's see what else we got. Is that going to be it for the limits? Looks like it, potentially. I'm being trolled. I'm being fucking trolled. This isn't real. This is not fucking real. What is this, fucking Groundhog Day? We've done this before. We've done this before. Did we not learn our lesson last time we unbanned this card? Now you might think to yourself, okay, is Snatch Steal really that bad because we have Change of Heart in the format? We have, what? We have like Triple Tack. We have like all these other cards that take control of a monster. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm a boomer and I've got PTSD from the last time this card was legal. There's a big difference between Snatch Steal and any of the other take control cards, specifically because Snatch Steal keeps the fucking monster as long as Snatch Steal sticks around. Oh my god. I will say, again, we brought back stuff like Change of Heart, so like, I don't know. I don't know if I like this. I guess it's another decent card for going second, if anything, too. We're already, like, playing, like, Change of Heart and shit anyway. Snatch Steal. Oh, my God. Okay, I'm awake now. Great. There's something else that's limited here. It looks like it's a trap card, too. Gozen. Gozen match. Really? Did we finally decide we want to go after Floodgates? Although, it doesn't make sense, because if we were going to do that, where's Anti-Spell? Anti-Spell would be above Gozen, because it goes alphabetically. Also, limiting Gozen? Like, I guess, right? But Anti-Spell, Gozen, Rivalry, there is a handful of traps that, like, are sort of in this category that should be either limited or banned, to be quite frank about it. This is a weird one. Like, I get it, but I feel like it's weird that they're not... I should reserve judgment until I look at the rest of the limits here. And let's see. Okay, Rivalry is here. Okay, I guess that makes a little bit more sense. And TCG. Whoa. Okay. Konami's really turning a new leaf for 2024, huh? Interesting. Okay. I will say... Okay, good. I wanted to make sure before I said anything. I still find it perplexing that Anti-Spell isn't on this list as well. But I will say that it seems like we are shifting into a new direction here, that we have stuff like Gozen, Rivalry, and TCG finally hitting the Forbidden and Limited list. Wow. What the hell? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 limits and 4 bans so far. They're not fucking around on this list. Okay. Interesting. All right, let's check the semis. You all know I hate the semi-limited list with a passion, but Konami seems to be wanting to reintroduce it more and more, which I don't like. Mali, Pankratops to 2. Honestly, we have Fenrir, so like I think that's probably fine. More stuff for going second isn't terrible. Pankratops is nuts, though. Pankratops is crazy. Terratop to 2. That's pretty sick. I don't really know how many decks would take advantage of 2 Terratop, but this could reintroduce some like older strats into the game for sure. For sure. Sleepy Memory. This is a new semi-limit. You can see here, this is like limit to semi-limit. This is just a brand new semi-limit. It's interesting because Pearly has been having a reasonably high amount of representation, especially in like the earlier stages of the format. I think towards the end here, like with YCS Bologna and everything, it didn't have as high representation, if I recall. So it's interesting to see just like, I guess we've hit all the other decks so far, right? Like we've hit Unchained, we've hit Rescue Ace. So I guess Pearly already has hits though, which is strange. That's interesting. Anything else? No, that's it. Okay, well, it's only 7 cards on the semi-limit. I liked when it was only 4, but Sleepy Memory could probably stay at 3. Terratop could probably go to 3. Again, we have Fenrir, so I feel like because we have Fenrir, Pank could also probably go to 3. I don't know. I just feel like the semi-limited list like shouldn't exist. It just seems like a waste. In any case, let's see what we got for the Unlimits. The Unlimits are usually pretty interesting, all things considered. Archfiend? Now, I gotta be honest, it's been a minute since we've seen Archfiend, Infernity decks, I should say. It was what, like, before, like, when we were nearing the end of, like, Hat format, I think? It was around that point where the Infernity decks were, like, at their peak before they took all the hits that they did. That's interesting. Infernity's also gotten a handful of new support over the years as well. Okay. See, this is why I like the Unlimits sometimes, like, more than a lot of the other things, because it really opens up the possibilities for what people can do. I will say the one thing I don't really like about Infernity is that it does sort of play into the style of gameplay where it creates just a lot of non-games. So that's never really, like, a ton of fun because it just makes this ultimate board that just can't be broken. We'll see. 3 Archfiend's a bit terrible. I like out of all the things that they decided to just go from 1 to 3. They're like, yeah, Archfiend is fine. You know, that just seems like a weird one to me. In any case, Unicorn going from 2 to 3. I think that's fine, especially now because Arise Heart is banned, I want to say. Yes, it was banned on the last ban list, I think. So Unicorn to 3, like, who gives a shit? Mind Control to 3. Holy shit, we're just opening the floodgates to all of the take control cards. That's interesting. If you guys recall, I think it was around 2019. I think it was Toss format when Mind Control was at 3. And then they limited it because it was just, like, too strong of a going second card. Or just too strong of a card generally because you were able to just link off everything and just get so much value out of playing a card like this. And so they limited it. But now we're back at 3. So now we have 3 Mind Control, Change of Heart, Snatch Steal, Triple Tack. Holy shit. We have so many cards that can just literally... Wow. Okay. That's also no hard once per turn on Mind Control because it was printed in, like, 2004. So interesting. Desire's going back to 3. I'm totally fine with this. I think, honestly, the fact that they put it to 2 in the first place was a bit weird, but it is what it is. I think more pots to give decks more consistency is just a good thing, so that's fine. Spellbook of Judgment going from 1 to 3. This could have probably happened years ago, and I don't think anyone's going to be playing Spellbook anytime soon. Although, I will say, the one terrifying thing about Spellbook specifically is that they can create, like, Jowgen locks. I don't know if a Jowgen lock is good enough by 2024 Yu-Gi-Oh! Standards, but it's something that could happen. Also, you can, like, Ash Spellbook of Judgment, which is hilarious. And, like, that didn't exist back in the day. So this is probably fine. I don't think anyone's going to be messing around with that. Sprite Starter going from 2 to 3. I think that's fine. Sprite decks, for the most part, haven't really done a whole lot. Like, they've been around. You see Distant Coder playing, like, his Runic Sprite for hire. And there's, like, a few other just, like, general Sprite variants that are running around. I think that's fine. I don't think that really matters all that much. Really? 3 Upstart Goblin. We're going back to 3 Upstart? Ooh, that's scary. Isn't Engage is at 2? No, I mean, I don't know if that matters that much, but wow. Upstart to 3 has a lot of interesting implications for deck building because obviously a lot of people try to just play any number of blanks in their deck just to be able to get to the more consistent cards or the power cards that they actually want to see. But, like, think about all this draw power we have now. It's like Upstart's at 3. We have all the different pots. We have Desires. We have, what is it? We have the Prosperity. We've got Extrav. I mean, we've got a lot of draw power, and the fact that you can just slim your deck down to 37 just before doing anything else now, interesting. I know we're kind of in a format specifically right now where Droll is a decently good card, especially in side decks, which is not a good thing for Upstart Goblin, obviously, but interesting. I think Allure is still at 3 as well, which is why I was thinking about... we just did Striker Orchest in History of Yu-Gi-Oh! So this was just on the mind that this is at 2, Allure is at 3, Harp came back. Not like that we're playing Striker Orchest anytime soon, but is that it? That's it. Wow. That was like... what? 7, 10, like almost 30 different changes to cards on the list? That's insane. Okay, well, I guess we have a lot to think about going into the new format. We have a lot of interesting board breaking cards for going second, courtesy of this new list. Thanks to the mind controls, the snatch steal. The implications for the floodgate traps getting limited are pretty high because now a lot of either like top or rogue strats can't use these as like a crutch. I'm thinking of, I don't want to say rogue decks and say Labyrinth, but like obviously Labyrinth is another like top deck that if you're playing the stun variant could like take advantage of this already, but this is interesting. I think there's a lot to think about here. And especially, too, because we have what? We have Phantom Nightmare that's going to be coming out in February as well. I think there's one other product that's going to be released between those timeframes as well. This is interesting. I'm really curious to hear what your guys' thoughts are on this. I guess if we go to latest, this shows us everything, right? Yeah, it does. Wow, that's a lot of changes. You know what I got to say? I don't know what the implications are going to be for the game overall into the next few months, but I want to credit Konami for actually like really going out and changing a lot of stuff. I think this is going to be a nice refresh going into 2024, and it'll be interesting to see what ends up just being top dog at the end of it all. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my my crazy reactions to some of these old cards as the Yugi boomer that I am, and we'll see you next time.